What if I told you the Amish figured out complete, natural mosquito control over 200 years ago, and it's something most modern families pay $300 a year to avoid? In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how they do it, and how you can start today. I'm Mikael Yoder, and this is something I wish someone had shown me years ago. Most people think you need harsh chemical sprays, expensive ultraviolet bug zappers, or toxic propane foggers to reclaim your backyard from swarming mosquitoes. That's what we've been told. That's what the whole multi-billion-dollar pest control and chemical repellent industry wants us to believe. But Amish communities, who've been living without commercial chemical sprays, synthetic DEET, or electric grid bug zappers for generations, discovered something that completely changes that picture. These aren't myths. These aren't folktales passed down around a fire. This is a living, working system that has kept over 350,000 people fully self-sufficient and bite-free for over 150 years. And today I'm breaking it down into 5 methods that any family can start using. No special equipment, no expensive tools, nothing you can't do this weekend. The first method is called the sweet yeast CO2 decoy. Here's exactly how it works. You are going to create a biological trap that perfectly mimics the human breath, drawing mosquitoes entirely away from your family's living space. First, take a standard empty 2-liter plastic bottle and cut the top third off. In the bottom half, you are going to mix 1 cup of warm water. It must be warm, right around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but not boiling. With 1/4 cup of standard brown sugar. Stir this until the sugar is completely dissolved. Then, the magic ingredient, gently sprinkle exactly 1 gram, about a 1/4 teaspoon of active dry baking yeast, across the surface of the sugar water. Do not stir it. Finally, take the top third of the bottle you cut off. Flip it upside down so the spout points toward the liquid, and tape the edges together to create a funnel. Wrap the outside of the bottle in a black cloth or black paper, as mosquitoes are naturally drawn to dark, shaded colors. You then place this trap exactly 50 feet away from your porch, patio, or where you intend to sit. What makes this method special is that it doesn't try to repel mosquitoes. It actively outsmarts their hunting biology. Mosquitoes track targets by following plumes of carbon dioxide exhaled from our lungs. The fermenting yeast in this trap produces a steady, concentrated stream of CO2 that is actually much stronger than a human's breath. An average family using this method can eliminate up to 80% of the active mosquito population in their immediate yard, and save hundreds of dollars a year on toxic yard sprays. The Amish call this the fermentation draw, and once you understand the logic behind it, you'll wonder why nobody taught you this in school. The most common mistake people make is putting the trap on the table they are sitting at. Remember, this is a decoy. If you put it next to you, you are inviting the swarm to your dinner plate. Keep it 50 feet away, in a shaded, damp corner of your property. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The second method is the slow-smolder walnut smudge. Most people have never heard of this one, and that's exactly the problem. Unlike modern citronella candles that burn fast and barely mask your scent, this method uses the heavy, dense smoke of specific native tree leaves to physically block a mosquito's olfactory sensors. To do this, you need to forage a large handful of fresh black walnut leaves, though hickory or wild cherry leaves will also work in a pinch. You cannot use them fresh off the tree. They must be laid out on a screen in a dry, warm place for exactly 3 to 4 days until they are leathery, but not brittle and crumbling. Once they reach that leathery stage, you bind them tightly together using 100% natural cotton string to create a dense cigar-shaped bundle about 6 inches long. Alternatively, you can pack these leathery leaves into a small, dry cast iron pot. When you are ready to sit outside, light one end of the bundle, let it catch an open flame for 10 seconds, and then blow it out so it heavily smolders. Place it upwind of your seating area. What separates this from anything you'd find in a modern big-box home improvement store is the specific chemical compound released in the smoke. Black walnut leaves contain juglone and potent tannins that, when slowly smoldered, naturally coat the immediate area in a scent profile that mosquitoes find biologically intolerable. A family of 4 who does this consistently will completely reclaim their evening porch time, saving money on single-use chemical candles while gaining the independence of utilizing free, natural yard waste. There's a reason this practice has survived for 6 generations. It simply works better than the modern alternative. The biggest mistake to avoid here is letting the leaves dry until they are completely brown and crunchy. If they are too dry, they will flash burn in 5 minutes. You need that leathery, moisture-retaining texture to ensure a thick, continuous, slow-rolling smoke that lasts for hours. The third method surprised even me when I first came across it. It's called the bruised catnip perimeter. You probably know catnip as the herb that makes your feline friends go crazy, but it is actually one of the most aggressive natural mosquito repellents on planet Earth. To execute this properly, you need to plant Nepetacataria, true catnip, in a strategic horseshoe shape around your primary outdoor living space, focusing heavily on the windward side of your yard, so the prevailing breezes blow over the plants and toward your seating area. You want to space these plants about 2 feet apart so they form a dense, continuous, low-lying hedge, but just planting them isn't enough. That is where modern gardeners fail. To activate this system, you must walk your perimeter about 10 minutes before dusk. As you walk, gently run your hands through the bushes, lightly crushing, and rolling the leaves between your fingers. You don't want to tear the plant apart, just bruise the leaves enough to release their essential oils into the evening air. Success looks like a faint, minty aroma hanging over your patio just as the sun begins to set. The thing most people get wrong when they try this for the first time is simply planting the catnip in a pot in the corner and expecting a miracle without ever touching it. The volatile oils are trapped inside the leaf structure. Without the daily bruising, the plant does nothing for you. Avoid that passive mindset, actively engage with your perimeter, and you're already ahead of 90% of people who attempt it. The Amish have a saying about this: the garden only protects the hands that work it. And it captures exactly why this method works so well. Scientifically, catnip contains a compound called nepetalactone. Researchers at Iowa State University actually proved that nepetalactone is 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than standard DEET. The Amish just didn't need a university study to figure out what worked over a century ago. The fourth method is incredibly resourceful and turns kitchen trash into a formidable shield. It's called the garlic skin and ACV tonic. Here's exactly how it works. Every time you cook, save the dry, papery skins of your garlic bulbs. Most people throw these in the compost or the trash, but they are packed with concentrated sulfur compounds. Take a quart-sized glass mason jar and pack it completely full with these dried garlic skins. Once the jar is tightly packed, pour raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, the kind that still has the mother floating in it, over the skins until they are completely submerged. Seal the jar tightly and place it in a dark, cool cupboard for exactly 3 weeks. Every 3 or 4 days, give the jar a vigorous shake to agitate the mixture. After 3 weeks, strain the liquid through a fine cheesecloth into a spray bottle, discarding the spent skins. Mix this concentrated garlic vinegar infusion with an equal part of distilled water. Spray this mixture generously along the wooden floorboards of your porch, around your door frames, and along the lower exterior brickwork of your home every 3 days. What makes this method special is that it leverages a barrier scent mechanism that alters the ambient pH and odor profile of your physical house structure, rather than applying sticky chemicals directly to your skin. Mosquitoes have highly sensitive receptors on their legs and antennae, and the residual sulfur from the garlic combined with the acidic bite of the fermented vinegar creates an invisible, highly repelling fence. An average family using this method can effectively banish mosquitoes from hovering around entryways and sneaking into the house when the screen door opens, easily reducing indoor mosquito hunting by 90%. The Amish call this sour walling, and once you understand the logic behind it, you'll wonder why nobody taught you this in school. The most common mistake people make is using standard white distilled vinegar. White vinegar lacks the organic compounds and natural fermentation profile needed to properly extract the sulfur from the garlic skins. Always use raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar for the proper chemical extraction. The fifth and final method is your ultimate personal protection for when you venture out of the yard and into the deep woods or near standing water. It's called the tallow and lemon balm barrier salve. To make this, you are going to create a heavy-duty, completely natural skin pomade. You will need 1 cup of pure rendered beef tallow. You can render this yourself from butcher suet or buy it pre-rendered. Place the tallow in a double boiler over very low heat until it melts into a golden liquid. Once melted, add 2 massive handfuls of fresh, finely chopped lemon balm leaves and a small handful of crushed cedar tips. Let this mixture steep over the lowest possible heat for 2 full hours. The fat will pull all the essential mosquito-repelling oils out of the greenery. After 2 hours, carefully strain the liquid fat through a tightly woven cloth into small metal tins or a glass jar. As it cools, it will harden into a smooth, rich salve. When you go outside, rub a thin layer of this salve onto your ankles, the back of your neck, and your wrists. What separates this from anything you'd find in a modern pharmacy aisle is the delivery mechanism. Modern insect repellents are usually water or alcohol-based. You spray them on, they evaporate rapidly, and within 30 minutes, you are sweating them off and getting bitten again. Beef tallow, however, is a biological fat that mimics our own skin's sebum. It absorbs deeply and locks the lemon balm and cedar oils directly into the lipid layer of your skin. It is entirely sweat-proof and waterproof. A family of 4 who does this consistently will gain the freedom to hike, fish, and work outdoors from dawn until dusk without reapplying, saving a fortune on aerosol cans. There's a reason this practice has survived for generations. It simply works better than the modern alternative. The biggest mistake people make with this is overheating the tallow during the infusion process. If you let the fat boil or smoke, you will completely destroy the fragile, volatile oils in the lemon balm, leaving you with nothing but beef-scented grease that might actually attract pests. Keep the heat strictly at a low, gentle simmer. Now you have 5 methods that Amish families have quietly used for generations, while the rest of us were paying full price for the problem they solved long ago. If you're not sure where to begin, start with the Sweet Yeast CO2 Decoy. You can do it this weekend with 0 special equipment, and most people see results within the first week. If this was useful, go ahead and subscribe. I'm putting out a new video tomorrow, and I don't want you to miss it. And drop a comment right now. Which of these methods are you trying first? I read every single one.